Welcome to the Legendary Upside podcast. My name is Pat Crane. You can find all of my content at legendaryupside.com. With me today, Eric Froton of RotoWorld NBC. Eric, how's it going?
It is. I'm doing wonderful. We haven't touched base since the NFL draft season, which was an enjoyable experience as always. But now the bullets are flying, Pat. We're not talking about NFL far-flung prospects. No. We're in my world. College football is coming up. We got the NCAA 2K25 game. Everybody's playing, and now, for the first time since 2012, when CBS made their ill-fated foray into the college fantasy football landscape, we have a major platform, a major American platform supporting college fantasy football with these Underdog Best Bowl Mania. They're repurposing it for college football, and this is just another watershed moment for the sport of college football. Everything's changing, be it the conferences, be it the playoff format. Now we have 12 teams. It is the year of college fantasy football, Patrick.
Yeah, so we're going to be talking about Best Bowl Mania.
That's what we're talking, baby.
Yeah, Underdog's new format that they just launched this week. And it's a very similar format to Best Bowl Mania. I'll pull up the format here. So, kind of what we're used to with the Best Bowl Mania, where you got the 12-person groups, top two advance, then you go into the playoffs, top two advance out of 10, top two advance out of 8, and then there is the grand prize winner, where you have to finish first out of 94 participants, and first place $20,000. So this is one of these classic playoff formats that Underdog gives us, but for college football. So to give the listeners a little background here, I don't know really anything about college football. I do a lot of prospect stuff, but I play catch up every year and lean on guys like you, where we give me some more context here about who these guys are. But I dive into the statistical profiles and try to get up to speed pretty quickly on the rookies. But I mean, this is a whole new world. We've got, first of all, this is a super flex tournament, right? So this is a big player pool we need to get our arms around if we're going to be dabbling in the college football streets, which is why I wanted to talk to you and dive into one of these drafts.
Yeah, well, first off, let's just establish the boundaries. There's 68 teams, I believe, in this. You have the entire Power Four plus Oregon State and Washington State. And that's an important designation because there's no more Pac-12. They are the Pac-2. But in being the Pac-2, they play a Mountain West schedule. So for Oregon State, it really isn't that much of an advantage because they really are changing over their entire roster. Lost their coaching staff over to Michigan State, lost their top tight end, who's their best playmaker, and their top running back, Damian Martinez, is now Miami. Lost their quarterback, who is a year two player, to Michigan State as well. Followed the coaching staff, Aiden Childs. So it is essentially a full-on reset for Oregon State. But with Wazoo, they are essentially intact, and they run a air raid offense with Ben Arbuckle, their offensive coordinator, who came over from the Western Kentucky tree, which was Zach Kitley, that produced the Bailey Zappi nuclear 6,000-yard season. So it's a very pass-heavy offense, and you're going to have a couple, definitely two, at least 90-plus target receivers. And you've had three in certain years, depending on how prolific the offense is and how well they're moving it. So them playing a Mountain West schedule is an element of a cheat code for that passing game. The problem is they do have a quarterback competition between Josh Mateer and Zevi Eckhouse, who is a transfer from Bryant College, was an FCS All-American Walter Payton Award finalist. So just a little bit about the player pool and the teams that are involved.
So which of the two Pac-2 teams are you talking about now?
Oh, Washington State is the one you want to target.
That's
You're not going to get much. Maybe Anthony Hankerson out of Oregon State is all their top running back is all I've really seen drafted. Even their wide receiver room has been pretty much pillaged. So it's a total restart over there. There isn't a lot of, to go with on that depth chart.
So Washington State, we got quarterback uncertainty, but we like the receivers. That's the
absolutely.
Okay.
They're playing a talent level above what their division is because they're playing in the Mountain West this year. So they're bumping from the Power Four down the G5, just a massive advantage talent wise.
Nice. Okay. All right. I'm gonna share your rankings that you sent over. So the quarterback position, obviously very important to think through. And I'll also pull up real quick, actually, I'll pull up the Underdog rankings so you can see the ADP here for this tournament. Here, let me share this. So you can see that we're seeing Dylan Gabriel's second overall. And then we've got quarterbacks not like flying off the board, which is interesting. You know, at least from coming from NFL Superflex, they tend to fly off the board. But I guess with a deeper player pool, that's not necessarily as important. But thoughts on kind of the early ADP here? Anyone kind of jump out as targets or fades?
Yeah, well, in terms of the quarterbacks, I've been doing, just for a little background, I've been doing college fantasy football for 24 years. In terms of the space, I've been doing it longer than anybody that you're going to be listening to for this. So I have, certainly priors and track record. When it comes to last year, every year, a group of 12 industry experts go and do a series of 12 best balls where everybody picks from a different alignment every time. Last year, I came in second place out of that big best ball, sort of industry best ball mania sort of a thing. I was just a shade behind first place, which is my co-host, Zach Hall. So I do have, experience doing this, and this is something that we've been doing in the industry for a little while. So when it comes to QBs, I'm setting this up for this. I tend to wait. I want to wait until usually around 7-8 at least, around 7-8 to pick up my first QB because it's a pretty deep pool.
Okay.
We just finished a best ball that is a 16 team, again, industry best ball that is a we started this before we even knew that this was coming out. So it's a 30 rounder that we do, 16 teams, P4 only, and a G5 only. In that league, because it's 30 rounds, you can have so many quarterbacks. We start 2 quarterbacks a week. Okay. This is a super flex, 1 quarterback and a super flex, right? So it's a different setup with that when you're mandated to have 2 as opposed to when you can have 2.
Right.
And plus when there's 16 teams. It's a different format.
Even best ball, I think both are best ball, right? But just, if it's a best ball league and it's super flex, then you don't even because super flex standalone leagues, you kind of just treat like 2 quarterback because you want to start the player every week in the super flex, but best ball, it's a little less important.
I mean, you want to have a QB in that spot, obviously, if at all possible. You've seen a lot of 5 QB builds, and I think that's probably. I did a 4 QB, I've done a 5 QB. I think 5 QB is probably the way to go. But the thing is, with these QBs, you can get security and certainty in that round 7, 8, 9 range, and typically you're going to see some guys go off the board that I don't have ranked quite the way that the Underdog ADP does. So I feel like I can wait a little bit down the board, get that security of a tier 2 QB, let the tier 1 and the select tier 2s go, and wait till that 7-8 round, because with the wide receiver position, it gets thin and you get into dart throw territory fairly quickly.
Okay.
So I'm looking to certainly stock my skill positions over that first beginning part of the draft.
Any format where drafting wide receiver early as an edge is one that I'm interested in. So this this sounds pretty cool. The tier 1 quarterbacks, I mean, these guys, it looks like are all pretty much going in like the top 3 rounds ish. So you're not really. Sounds like you're mostly just skipping tier 1. Who in tier 2 are you kind of actually drafting right now?
Yeah, sure. I am way higher on Carson Beck than it seems like a lot of the ADP is. I just got him when I just did right before I came on here. He's a great deal. You're not going to be able to get Avery Johnson. He's a running QB. But like the certainty of Carson Beck, he's the leading returner in terms of passing yardage. He threw for almost 4,000 yards last year. The top 2 ahead of him, Michael Penix and Bo Nix, both gone, obviously. So I just think there's a great degree of certainty. I love Garrett Nussmeier going and taking over that LSU offense. That was 45 points a game almost last year. And I think they're going to still be, again, in the high 30s. And with Jalon Daniels, he did a lot of scrambling last year. As you know, I'm sure you did your research on Jalon Daniels, loves to break the pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Does not reset when he breaks the pocket. He's running down the field. That's how he was able to break the SEC record for most 20-plus yard plays. It was his feet, too. You're not going to see Nussmeier run. You're going to see a lot more distribution. And with sort of an open wide receiver room, that's an easy place to stack down the board with, receivers.
That's pretty interesting. Okay, so Nussmeier highly stackable and kind of like sounds like with cheap guys.
I like Jalon Daniels too.
Okay,
Kansas has an unbelievable schedule. It's a very favorable schedule, and he was injured last year. He had a back ailment where they came in. Jason Bean, who is just a senior old hand, came in, and they were only throwing 23 passes a game under previous offensive coordinator Andy Kotelnicki. In comes offensive coordinator Jeff Grimes from Baylor. Before that, he was BYU's offensive coordinator during the Zach Wilson era. He is responsible for Zach Wilson. So, anybody who has a gripes with him, you NFL guys, you talk to Grimes. But the point is, Grimes is there in Kansas, and he is much more prolific when it comes to putting the ball in the air. In fact, Kansas was bottom 10 in terms of passes per game. I mean, 23 passes per game is laughable. I think you'll see him at least up in that 30 range, which is a sea change. And with Jalon Daniels being an incredible running quarterback, you're going to have both sides of that. Last year, OC Grimes, Baylor threw for 276 yards a game last year. I think, if they're throwing for even 250 with the ability of Daniels to run, he could be a league winner type. Okay. So if you're shooting for upside, Jalon Daniels, where he's going, in those late single-digit rounds, just loads of it with his dual threat capabilities, because this is a 4-point passing touchdown format, not a 6.
Okay. So Georgia, I want to just on Carson Beck. Is Georgia very stackable? I think they lost AD Mitchell and he was in Texas room. 2 years ago.
Open room. Usually it would even be the tight end. You would be like, okay, well, Brock Bowers goes. It would be a linear progression for Oscar Delp, who's also a top 3 tight end from his class. This is year 3 for him. He was a 2021 recruit. But they bring in Benjamin Urosek from
who you have ranked higher.
Who I have ranked pretty damn high, and I got him in round 20 in the last best ball draft I did. I did with these builds, you're either going 3 tight end, which is heavy because you only need 1 tight end, or 2 tight end. I went with the Rondé Gadsden, who is what I call a Tito tight end and title only, because he barely even plays tight end, but he's listed there on the team page. Sort of a cheat code that doesn't exist in NFL. So you got a guy who's going to have 900 yards.
It's supposed to exist with Kyle Pitts, but we're waiting.
Yeah, that's fair. That is fair. But that really is his role. So you go and you take him in the 3rd round. Late 3rd is really who he's going. And then I'm like, well, I'm going to see what happens. I'm just going to wait to see who falls that matches my bye weeks. And Benjamin Urosek is there at the bye. Bye weeks match up perfectly. He is the expected starter. I mean, I like Delp and everything, but there's Lawson Lucky behind him. There's a lot of those young guys. That is a prolific tight end offense that Mike Bobo, their offensive coordinator, runs. We don't know what the wide receiver core really looks like. You have Dominic Lovett, who is the number 1 guy getting drafted in most CFF drafts. But then behind him, Dylan Bell, Colby Young coming over from Miami, Landon Humphreys coming over from Vanderbilt. There's just a lot of conjecture in that room. So, I would say Lovett is my preferred option. The nominal number 2 would be Colby Young coming over Miami, but we don't know how that'll translate. We haven't seen him in the offense yet. I kind of like Dylan Bell as a late dart throw, but you're not even seeing those guys drafted. Because once you get past the top 40 wide receivers, it becomes dart throw land. It becomes personal preference. And a lot of those wide receivers that you're seeing that are getting taken before me, when I get into those, in the teens, are just guys that I don't want anyways, that are mislabeled on ADP, because that's what Underdog has them as. So there are market inefficiencies that you can exploit if you're out there, you have a tiered ranking system like I've already put together and we're going through.
So yeah, let me get back to tiers. So quarterback, we get into like rounds late round 6, round 7, round 8. How are you trying to build that out? You highlighted a few guys there, but are you grabbing like 3 in that range, or what are you kind of doing structurally with quarterback?
I want 2 in tier 2 from what we see here. I think you're on the tight ends right now.
I am on the
But
tight end, yeah.
I definitely want 2 tier 2 guys if I can possibly get them, 3. But I'm usually aiming a little lower because I feel like I can get a good amount of certainty in that tier 3, definitely tier 4 range. For instance, if you're looking down tier 4, if we're getting into that once it gets past tier 3, Tyler Van Dyke went in the 20th round of the last draft I was just in. Alan Bowman went in the 20th round. Luke Altmaier went in the 20th round. And when you're dealing with those guys, I think Luke Altmaier. I personally took him. I love Tyler Van Dyke and probably would have, but in order to make a point, I want a little Luke Altmaier exposure. Quietly, Illinois threw for 3,200 yards a game. Actually had a pass, was throwing at a surprising rate that you wouldn't expect from a Brett Bielema offense. And he proved himself to be extremely capable coming over, transferring from Ole Miss. When he was healthy, he was spelled a little bit by John Paddock when he was injured, which kind of depressed his numbers. But, man, he's going to get every single snap. He's been dialed in. He's been in the system for 2 years now. I like him. You can easily stack him with Pat Bryant, who, even though this is a half PPR format, he's better in PPR. Pat Bryant has taken over the Isaiah Williams position of the target hog. And Williams had almost 100 catches last year because they just use him as extended handoffs. He's got that low ADOT, which is just manna from heaven for that high floor that you're looking for from a late round 17, 18, 19 wide receiver. So I just feel like that the tier 4, I can have my pick of guys that I like. Like you see 3 of the top 5 guys in my tier 4 went in round 20. So you're going to have options back there that I like that it's not going to be the same as the wide receiver room because you need more of them. You know what I mean? So a real safe, a real solid strategy for me last year and in doing these best balls like I've been doing year over year is safety in my late quarterbacks, not so much explosiveness. You can go shop for the explosiveness and have, the dual threat all-in-one sort of solutions early on with those 7 to 10 round picks, those top 2 QBs, maybe top 3. But then those bottom 3 QBs, you can sit and wait after you get established up top, and you can get good, solid QBs that aren't going to be, under threat of being taken over. Like if you're going to go with Washington State where you got a dual QB room, you maybe got to take both of them, right? Or if you're going with Texas, Quinn Ewers has Arch Manning looking over his shoulder. Arch looked phenomenal in the spring game. Or USC, where Miller Moss has Jaden Mayava in town. Miller Moss threw 3 first-half touchdowns in the spring game. So there are going to be unsettled rooms that are going to be a little bit dangerous. They're going to put some variance into lineups that you can avoid by having good, solid, dependable quarterbacks. Are going to be there week in, week out, and you can match up those bye weeks too to be, or the schedules to line up and really be favorable to you. So I feel like with the QB room, you attack, if you're going to draft 5 of them like we're doing it in 20 rounds, which is most of those builds, you can stack that top of your skill positions and still have a solid room. So I think that's really what is the differentiating factor for the quarterbacks for me and why I'm not taking them as high and why I'm tending to wait 2 tier 2. I want 1 or 2 tier 3s, and then I'm happy to value play the tier 4s for those last 2 spots.
Okay, so yeah, you're trying to get basically 3 quarterbacks from your first 2 tiers, and then a couple tier 4s. It sounds like, or maybe
I'm not
4.
even touching tier 1. I'm not even touching tier 1
Wow.
most of the time because they're not falling far enough for me to consider. I would look if I'm going to get a deal on Jackson Arnold, which sometimes that is available, maybe round 6. All right, well, I'll have a go. But most of the time, these tier 1 guys are gone by the time it's in pick range. So I've been focusing on tier 2. And frankly, the tier 2 QBs are jumbled when it comes to ADP. If you look at the ADP and you look at my rankings, they're different. So I'm seeing guys that I like more that I think are better upside shots. As we mentioned with Jalon Daniels, throw Preston Stone in there too, because he's got 3 buys for SMU, but he doesn't have any playoff buys. So,
Wait, there's playoff buys?
oh my friend, there's a lot of playoff buys.
Oh
Week
no.
12 is a cesspool of buys, right? So you have to make sure your Week 12 house is in order.
Okay.
So yeah, that's a big one. Week 13, you got Washington and Oregon, which is like it's a wonky buy, and there's none on 4 team, but it's the Week 13 team, the Week 12 that is going to be a difference maker, and it's going to cause a lot of great teams to be eliminated in that first quarterfinal round of Week 14 because it goes quarterfinals 12, semis through 13, finals 14, and that is going to be the difference maker. Is who goes and properly aligns themselves and avoids consequential Week 12 buys and without covering themselves.
I'll give a shout out to our friends over at Spike Week. They have a schedule matrix with all the buys. So if you're looking for help putting together teams that structurally make sense and that avoid playoff buys, then this can be a helpful way to do that. So
I'll give it up to my homies over at Campus of Canton too. In their rankings, they have put every single team's buys in those
nice.
rankings. So that's for each player when you draft them, you don't have to look up the team; you just look at the player. I will be putting buys in my spreadsheet, but this has not been released yet, and I just got done with the rankings, so only Pat Corain's viewers get to see that.
Well, we'll be waiting. We'll be waiting with bated breath for the bye weeks to be added. All right, so we got quarterbacks kind of sorted. Let's go to wide receiver because it sounds like this is the priority position early on. You said it dries up quickly. We're down to dart throws pretty quickly. Are you looking to stack up your top tier receivers, or they're kind of too expensive to do that with the quarterbacks?
Well, there's a clear delineated tier one, as you see there. It's pretty clear. Not a lot of movement in that. It's going to be Burden, Tez, and Stewart. Burden or Tet, you can go one or two either way. I'm fine either way. And then your preference of Tez or Evan Stewart, I get both of them. You got the slot receiver, or you have the Troy Franklin-esque deep threat. Whichever one you want is fine. But the real movement, it's tier two. There's a lot of personal preference involved in what your tier 2 and tier 3 guys are going to be, and that's really where you'll want to focus a lot of your efforts. That's where I'm at least shopping. I'm trying to get a good. If I can't get one of those top 4 wide receivers, which a lot of times you can't, I'm going to a top end running back, and then pivoting to wide receiver from there.
So on Underdog, the ADP lines up basically exactly with your tier 1. Tet's number 1, Burden number 2, then Tez and Stewart. Once you get past that top 4, who's been jumping out as a real target for you at wide receiver?
I like in terms of value. Jeremy Bernard is pretty good. I think Brennan Presley has been slipping further than he should be. He's going to have a ton of targets. Oklahoma State kind of gets a rep from Ollie Gordon being, the nominal number one player in this format. He steals a lot of touchdowns, but they throw a ton. They really do. This is a Mike Gundy offense. You got to remember that. They're going to throw for over 3,000 yards in the regular season. Alan Bowman is as seasoned as a quarterback could possibly be. He's like a 6th, 7th year guy and has a good hold of that room. So Brennan Presley, you can pencil him in for 120 targets. I mean, that's happening. He's a slot receiver. He's not going to score a ton of touchdowns. That's the kind of the knock. But in terms of safety and certainty, very high floor. I would probably take him over. Yeah, I would take him over at Buka at this point. And you're seeing just because of the Ohio State thing, Buka's still having pretty premium sort of a view. He
was pretty high, top 20.
Yeah, top 20. So I think that you can wait a little bit on that. I'm not going to have a lot of Buka unless he's going in the 4th, 5th round.
And Bowman is a tier 4 quarterback for you, so he's very easily stackable. It looks like
Very easily stackable. Again, he was 19th, 20th round in the last best ball I just did, and it's because of Ollie Gordon's goal line prowess. He's going to be in that 20 touchdown range. So I think they only threw 18 touchdowns as a team last year because of it, which is kind of an anomaly for a Gundy team. But that's what happens when you've got just a hammer of a running back who you can, once you get inside the 5, just give it to him 3 times and he'll be in. So yeah, that's certainly a factor. I like Nick Anderson. I find that I can get him at a very reasonable, like round 5 type range. If you see him here, he's the 4th. I haven't even had time to number this in my tiers. I'm finding that he's a pretty darn good value. Elic Iomanner for Stanford. Stanford's going to be hucking the ball in that Troy Taylor offense. Year 2 of Taylor. And then I would say, Travis Hunter is a polarizing guy. It's a polarizing evaluation. Some people just, some of the C2C guys are just like, would you bother drafting him? Go and just take the other Colorado wide receivers. I don't feel that way. I feel like he's an excellent value in that round 4-5 range. It was right around where he's going. I have him in a ton of just outside of Underdog best balls this year. And the reason why is he only played 9 games last year. Okay. Which is really like 8.5 because he got hurt early on in one. So he had 8.5 games. And he was averaging 8.5 targets, 9 targets per game. And he's cashing those in at a 75% rate, just about, what he's catching them at. So, like, he's explosive. He's Deion Sanders' adopted son. Shador, his real son, is throwing him the ball. And is there anybody more shameless in terms of self-promotion than Deion? You think he's not going to be drawing things up with Travis? After Xavier Weaver, the top deep threat, he goes. He's out of here. It's Travis Hunter. If he's healthy for 12 games, you aren't getting him here. He's a locked-in top 10 NFL pick. He's going to get pounded with targets when he's on the field. He's going to play all the time. And I just look at a Colorado team that ran for 824 yards last year in 12 games. They don't run the ball. They just don't. So, like, all those things factored in, I love the Colorado pass catchers outside of LeJontay Wester. LeJontay Wester has been going first in the industry expert best balls. I do not back that. I would have Hunter, then I would have Shepard, and I would probably have Horn and Wester pretty close. So,
looks like Wester's going behind Hunter here.
Yeah,
so
here, but not. He's in front of Shepard, right? Will Shepard.
Let's see.
Shepard should be going in front of him, and he's not.
Okay, yeah. Shepard's going significantly behind him.
That's what I'm saying.
Like 30 picks.
He should be. The point I'm making is Wester should be closer to Shepard than he is to Hunter, because he's coming in and trying to take a slot role. There was already Jimmy Horns last year, so like that's a share. What do you do about that? Are they all 4 out on the field at the same time all the time? So I'm just curious about how that alignment works. They didn't do too much with their tight end last year anyways, and he just transferred to SDSU. So, I mean, I don't know what to expect behind that.
With, a situation like this where you're feeling like Hunter is a target and then you've got an edge in sort of the ordering of the other 2 receivers, are you willing to take Sanders at quarterback at all, or is he just not fitting with your structure?
Yeah, I would take Shador. He's just going too early, I'm finding, because there is the Colorado bump factor. With the general population. I'm not seeing the expert leagues. So
that would be
like of expert shares of
okay.
Shador Sanders. I have a ton of them because it's so projectable in terms of that passing volume. What I know I'm going to get 35 plus passes per game. And, if you go to fantrax.com and you read my very in-depth 5,000 word wide receiver article, I get into a little bit of the theorizing of where you want to be focusing your shots when you get past the top tiers, and how you want to be targeting different rooms for those number 2, number 3 wide receivers you're going to be dealing with here in the Power 4. And a lot of it has to do with teams that are throwing either 35 passes per game and scoring 35 points. As close as you can get to each of those, the rule of 35 is what I call it, metrics. You want to be close to that. So with Colorado, they're going to be at least in the low 30s, this year, and they're going to be throwing at least 35 passes. So with the fact that they don't run the ball, they beefed up their offensive line because Shedeur was running for his life last year. He had a 25% pressure to sack rate. With all that stuff sort of factored in, it's just a high passing volume in an offense that doesn't have a defense to fall back on. I love crappy defenses, and there's so many of them. The worse, the better. Going to be a lot of pressure on that team to have to throw the ball and move it. So I like all those factors coming into play, and why I have no problem stacking Colorado. And even their running back, Dallin Hayden, he's going way late. I've gotten him in I think I probably have like a 75% exposure to him, at least 2/3, because he's a pass catching back coming out of Ohio State. It was a premium prospect, high 4-star, and just in comes Quinshon Judkins transferring Ole Miss to Ohio State this year. Trevion Henderson was supposed to go in the draft. He stays. You have 2 bell cow running backs and Chip Kelly coming in, who's going to run the ball all over the Big Ten, right? He sees the writing on the wall, leaves. He's not big. He's like that perfect 195, 200 pounds, 5'10", which is what Dion likes because they want guys to throw the ball to. He's going to get a ton of dump offs, a ton of them. And he's the only guy in that room that's really worth his salt. Everyone else transferred out because Dion alienated him. So there's a lot of safety. There's a lot of, I mean, the floors on these guys are all there. And you're going to get a couple of them that hit pretty huge in that wide receiver room. I think you get 2 guys that'll be, 100 target type targets, and they're going to be in an offense that's pretty darn explosive.
So it sounds like even if you don't get Sanders, you're still pretty interested in Colorado.
There's plenty. There's plenty. There's 4 wide receivers getting drafted in a 20-team best ball. It's P4 only. I don't think there's going to be any other team that has that. Maybe Wazoo, if you want to slide in Carlos Hernandez. It's about it.
Interesting. Okay, let's talk running back a little bit. So let me pull up your running back rankings. Ollie Gordon is like the number 1 pick in this. Tell me a little bit about him.
Ollie Gordon, yeah, it's his 3rd year. You will be seeing him and hearing plenty about him in the coming draft season. Probably I have him as a top 5. You're right in that top 5 for this class, which is a pretty good class too. But he's like 6'1", 220. That prototype, he kind of has like a, runs a little high at times. His pads can be high. But, man, when it's time to lower the boom, he can certainly do so. He's got plenty of heft. Is kind of a weaver type of a runner. Like he wants to be in the straight line. He can weave. He isn't going to be having those drastic super sharp cuts, but, he'll toss a 1 cut on you. And then once he gets going, he's very
kind of
good. Yeah, his hips are pretty fluid, is what I like. He isn't sharp, but he doesn't need to be with his style of running and his stature, because he's pretty damn fast at 220, and at that 6'1". So, physical, but also hits the home runs. He's a pretty good, solid, complete back.
Are you looking to take him number 1, or are you going for one of your receivers?
Yeah, I would be okay if somebody want to go with Tet, but Tet hurt himself in the spring game, and we're hearing, they'll say the things. You should be approaching full health when camp starts, so it should be fine. But I'm going with Ollie Gordon probably here, or Ted. If I feel like Ted, I'd go Ted.
So I asked you for a guy for the thumbnail. I put Ollie Gordon on there because he's the number 1.
Oh, you want the views, Patrick?
But I also put Darius Taylor,
good,
from Minnesota, who you suggested.
You had to. And the reason why is because Darius Taylor was the biggest market efficiency of the best ball opening. He was listed at ADP of 240, and he was going in like round 4 or 5 in these early ones. So my personal projection is, you're drafting now, the winning team's already been drafted because they got Darius Taylor from Minnesota, who's getting 25 carries a game for a just, I am here to pound the rock PJ Fleck offense, and they're getting him in the 4th, 5th round, right? So even now, like he's lasting until the 2nd round, which is fine, but it's like, it's just a matter of health with him. Just a matter of health. He stays healthy, you'll be fine. If he wears down because the carry load like he did last year, because he got hurt last year, then he'll be in trouble. But either way, 4th, 5th round for Darius Taylor, he was the biggest market inefficiency of the entire best ball mania.
ADP of 19.5. He was going undrafted to start this tournament.
No, he was listed at 240 for ADP.
Oh, okay.
That's where you're listed by Underdog. So nobody even saw him. First draft I did, we did on Davis Maddox's show, myself and Mike Bainbridge. We didn't even see him. He was so far down the board. He went on we took Kyle Munnan guy, and then Darius Taylor went, and we were like, oh my God, Darius Taylor is here. And it was like that aha moment. It was like, oh my God, Darius Taylor. Oh my God. So yeah, I have him as a top 6 guy, and pretty solid top 6. It's
wow.
It pretty much ends there, and then you begin that second half of the first tier, and he was going in round 4 or 5. So just that's why I requested Darius Taylor be on there. He was
got it.
The biggest market inefficiency in the group.
What does the running back position look like overall? Like, are you as worried at wide receiver of it kind of drying up? How deep is it?
It's deep. It's deep. But what you want to do is you get your running backs, and then you get 1 or 2 with a nice little anchor, and then you're going to pivot to wide receivers. And if you want to, toss a QB1, if you get a good deal on that, then you roll with that too. That's fine. But I'm pivoting, around that round 6, 7. It's like you want to get 3 wide receivers by round 7, and then from 8, 9, 10 is a real nice pocket for running backs. Some excellent.
This lines up like exactly with the NFL draft. So this is
oh really
easy. Yeah. 8, 9, 10 is like running back central. It's
little pocket of like the guys who fall, who I like more than what ADP has them at. So there's value there, and frankly, the best value on the board for running back is Cameron Cook for TCU. He's tier 3, but he is being selected in tier 4. All over the place. He was the second biggest. He probably still is. Now that Taylor straightened out, he's probably the biggest market inefficiency in my opinion. 4-star, just everything is system go for TCU. They had that reset after a magical 2022 last year, but reset back. They pound their RB1 with carries. You have Kendall Briles in there as offensive coordinator this year, who should revamp it because Garrett Riley left last year for Clemson. He was the architect of the 2022 one. So they're like, all right, last year reset. Now we're back. You can get him an excellent value. I'm getting him pretty much around 10, 11 now. And I still got him at, I think 10-8, the last draft I just did before coming on here. And that's just an exceptional deal.
Yeah, that's it, the ADP at 125. So readily available in the 10th. That's fun. So, all right. So we're going a couple wide receivers, maybe 3. You said 3 through the first 7. We grab, maybe a quarterback in the 6th, start hitting quarterbacks. You get a couple quarterbacks, 6, 7. Then we turn our attention to running backs in 8, 9, 10. So, after having an anchor or maybe 2. So I feel like this is coming together structurally. I'm starting to see a little bit kind of how we're piecing this together. What about tight end? What are you kind of looking to prioritize at tight end, if anything?
The good thing is you can wait a little bit because it's pretty much going. Aronde Gadsden's going in the 3rd round somewhere because, again, he's a Tito, tight end and title only. That's a Froton trademark too.
Okay.
That's my own. That's me. That's nobody else. So I'm allowed to use it with impunity. So if I don't get Gadsden, you're looking at Keithy for Utah, usually round 5. And from there, hey, it's kind of a personal preference. You've seen Lachey usually going with tight end 3, but then after that, I don't know. Any of those 5 guys after Lachey, it can go in any order, and I just want whichever one's left. And you can usually do that around 8, 9, 10. And if I don't get one of them, well, fine. I'll just sit there. I mean, I can sit there and wait on tight end and grab somebody in probably round 12, like a Luke Hash. Like we talked about, Urosic went round 20, and that's wild. Mitchell Evans, if he didn't have if he wasn't coming off an ACL in October, I think he did it, he would be in tier 1. I think he's incredible, and frankly is a screaming C2C value. just outrageous C2C value where he's been drafted in those formats. I also love Cole Taylor for West Virginia. Garrett Green is going in the first round. His quarterback, 55% completion rate last year for Green, but he's getting better. And Cole Taylor has proven himself to be a vital part of that offense. I see he's probably a 60 target tight end, and you can get him in round 13. The benchmark for tight ends, you want to try to get at least 50 targets out of them for elite 500-yard and 5-touchdown tight ends. That is the elite metric. I want 500-yard. I want 50, 500, 5. It's fives. 40, 404, totally acceptable for that range. But in order to get in the 505 territory, you have to get 65 targets on average. So that really should be what you're looking at here is the most prolific offenses according to the rule of 35, and then their tendency to target tight ends. I have a tight end, again, you're probably 4,000 words, a very deep historical analysis of the tight end position coming out next week. I'll be doing I already have a wide receiver column in. I'll be doing the running backs on Friday, which you'll want to take a look at as well, and then tight ends. And this is going to really color a lot of, the landscape that you guys are looking at here. And just in terms from a historical perspective of what does tight end prediction look like? What is a successful tight end? And that's sort of, what it comes down to for all the new CFFers is what am I looking for?
Right.
What is successful? So that's certainly a barrier you got to cross, but I'm here to help.
And where can people get that?
That is on Fantrax, which Fantrax, now outside of Underdog, is the only company that offers season-long college fantasy football leagues where you are making transactions, you're adding, dropping the full life cycle, dynasty leagues, C2C. It's all of them are on Fantrax, the only platform we have. So we really appreciate them. And in that effort, I am putting my off-season content on Fantrax, whereas in season I'll be switching that back over to NBC Sports.
I'll have the link for the wide receiver one in the description of the video as well. So if you want to check that out, got the historical overview and positional primer over at Fantrax. Okay, we talked a bit about the bye week stuff. Are there any rules of thumb here, or how do we keep things straight when building out these teams? Because position structure actually seems like it's not that difficult to get our heads around.
Sure.
But the bye week stuff seems more difficult.
It is. And you have to be on top of it at all times. You have to have a schedule matrix with you. You want to plan out weeks 12, 13, and 14, quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals. You need to be acutely aware of a significant amount of week 12 buys. And if you're going to be skimping on your week 12 rosters, you're in trouble. You're going to lose because you're not going to make it to the semifinals. So that has to be absolutely imperative. And then you're just making sure that you don't have too many redundancies between bye weeks. If you're going to have a number one wide receiver and a number two wide receiver or whatever running backs that have, week 6 and 10, like Colorado and Texas do, well, you're going to need to pivot and not be selecting guys with that bye week for that point forward. So I'll wait till I get my first two running backs, first two wide receivers, just go off talent with that. And then immediately make sure that I pivot to, all right, what are those bye weeks so we can avoid, if at all possible, if the talent's too much, then yeah, I'll take my RB3, my wide receiver 3, and just deal with it. If they have one of the buys, it's a hard no for whoever it is if you have both buys. If you have two buys that correlate with your first two guys. So that is when I usually start to pivot after I get my first two guys. I'm like, all right, what does the room look like as soon as you do it? Which is why it's kind of an advantage to kind of almost be on the edges in this draft. I'd rather be in the top 3 or the bottom 3, frankly, because I can go take my pick. I can have my 2 picks sort of lined up. All right, here's where I want to have them. This one. And then you have 15 picks, which with 30-second timers, it isn't that long. It really isn't.
Yeah,
it's like maybe you got 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So then you get 5 minutes to at least click off of the window, get over to your secondary window, check out your bye weeks, go through that. Like, all right, who are the players that are in my queue that are good? Okay, move that up the queue, move that up the queue, move that up the queue. And you start arranging by the bye weeks. And then typically by the time I'll go and wrap back around, boom, okay, we're back and I'm on the clock and I have my 2 picks lined up because it's so fast. And as college fantasy football drafters, everything we do is a slow draft. Everything. There are no such thing as fast drafts or live drafts.
All right, so maybe we have an edge as the NFL sickos. We know fast drafts. Trust me, we have fast draft experience.
You guys have an edge over that because like we doing the whole bye week thing, like we're shuttling it. Yeah, I've seen a few of the live streams where it's kind of madness a little bit, but that's why you have to make sure you have those buys for each player, and that's why I'll be taking the laborious step to make sure that's done on my rankings.
Yeah, so there's no week 13 or 14 bye weeks, right? Just week.
There is week 13. Oregon and Washington have week 13 buys, which is nightmare fuel. But that's just how it is. Yeah.
Week 14, no buys, please?
And no buys, week 14.
So,
but here's the thing. Here's the thing about week 13, right? SEC teams, the big teams, have FCS opponents. They're a secondary bye week for a lot of the big SEC teams before rivalry week, right? For instance, Clemson plays the Citadel. So you hear that and you say, right? Oh, great. They play the Citadel. No, Patrick. No.
They're resting.
That is a landmine.
Yeah.
He's gone. Whoever you have that you're playing, that you have in your lineup, they're gone by halftime. Maybe before halftime.
Oh, man.
Maybe they barely see the field because there's a hard 0 chance that Citadel is beating Clemson at Tiger Stadium in Death Valley. It's just one of those things.
It doesn't matter.
It is not happening.
Right.
They're not worried about it. They're resting their guys. They want nobody to get hurt. And they just want to chill out before South Carolina, week 14, right? It's the same for South Carolina. They play Wofford. So on both sides of that rivalry week, you got South Carolina.
Here's a suggestion for the rank. I think you should have the soft buy in the ranks because that seems pretty important that we get these.
Should be mentioned.
It should be meant. It should be, yeah.
It should Alabama has a week 12 soft buy. So like it's like, oh, okay, I can go and take Alabama to make up for all these week 12 buys. Well, they're playing Mercer. Delightful. Like how long are they going to be in that game for? It's not going to be long. Auburn, week 12, UL Monroe, like Charleston Southern for Florida State, week 13. It's UMass for Georgia. Bro, how long is Carson Beck going to be in the game against UMass? The answer is not very long. So these are all the things you have to factor in here when you're also going through this and saying, all right, well, what week 13 or week 12? All right, they don't have buys, but watch for those FCS games. Those
that's a really good note. All right, so we're in a draft. As you said, we want to be on the ends. So of course we got the Influencer 107.
That's what we need. That's why. Right. That's what we like. All right.
Smack dab in the middle of the board.
That's how it has to be, Pat. Let's make it tough. But that being said, we're at 7. We have, instead of getting 2 picks, every pick we could take a quick check. So
that's true.
There is a method to that madness. Let's see. All right. Yeah, it's exactly as you'd expect with the first 3 picks.
Yep. I'm already tilted.
I'd be looking running back here a little bit, probably.
Okay.
Oh, there goes Milrow. That's loose.
So running backs, which running backs jump out to you?
There goes another one. I like DJ Giddens. I like Omari and Hampton. But I'd take either one of those. I probably prefer Giddens because Hampton has a no rebuilt line. The line is terrible and no more Drake May. So let's go
no more Drake May.
And he catches a ton of passes. Giddens.
Okay.
Oh wait, no, we're not on the clock.
We're not on the clock. Yeah.
I got nervous. Let me see if I notice anybody here on this.
Oh, he took your boy. We lost Taylor. Taylor went one.
Darius Taylor. Yep. See, everybody knows now.
Yeah.
The gig is up. That's all right. Give us our Darius, our DJ Giddens.
So we got the anchor running back. Are you already
now it's a
receiver?
Probably going to pivot to receiver.
Okay.
I've liked what I've seen in terms of running back available in that round 3 range. So we won't be getting, Stewart or Tez Johnson, which is just fine. Let's see. Oh, is that Chris K in there again? Damn it. Up, Austin. Okay. Chris K is he's in there again. I don't like seeing him in here because he's
Out of the 11.
He's an expert. He's in all my stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
K. Realist Chris K.
We're
Austin
at least
might
not
be
that
one of the
close.
CTC guys.
Okay.
Let me see. Maybe they're even doing a live stream. If they are.
Oh, Anthony Miko's here at 103.
Oh, okay. All right. We got some peeps up in this place. Let's see. K went with Devin Neal. Okay. There goes Tez Johnson, Omarion Hampton, Nico. All right. This is pretty chalk. It's kind of what we expect to have here. So I would gas up, if we're looking at my rankings.
Which we very much are.
Let's gas up. Honestly, this is kind of like we could go either way here for the running backs or the wide receivers. So for running backs, let's get Jaden Ott and Jordan James queued up if they're still available.
They are.
Because I like the two of them. How far are we off? Okay, we're on deck. Look, there's a lot of QBs going here. See what I mean?
Yeah.
This is very early for the drafts that I've been seeing. See Ibuka go early? You know what I mean? This is a heavy QBs.
What about the receivers? Anyone jump out? Or are you like Ott or James?
You know what? I kind of like that Ott or James right there. And then we don't even have to think.
Do you have a preference?
Probably Ott due to schedule. Yeah, go with Ott. And
so
just
are the bye weeks not in here?
Correct. No bye weeks in there. That's why it's scary. Yeah,
that is very scary.
That's scary.
So Giddens and Ott. So we got Kansas State and Cal.
Yeah, look at all these. Look at all the QBs going here. It's delightful.
The Cal has 7 and 11 buys.
Okay.
Kansas State. Let me pull the board up for the people.
I like Cal's stretch run too. They got a nice 12, 13, 14. Kansas State has an 11 has a week 11 bye. Yay!
Oh no.
They have an excellent 12, 13, 14. All right. So here we go. This is great.
So we got to be careful about week 11 buys.
Week 11 buys. We will be, and it's week 6 and 11, but that's not what we got for.
We're 7, 11, and 6 and 11.
7, 11, and 6 and 11. Okay, yeah. So we know what we'll be focusing on for our second running back. That being said, let's sit here and take a look at what we got with receiver right now. How far are we off? How many picks?
We're still wrapping around the turn.
Yeah, there goes Jordan James and Brooks. Okay, a couple of Concepcion, Gadsden. See, there goes Gadsden. He goes in 212 here. All right, and then just a parade of receivers. A parade. Yeah. Okay, good. So 1, 2, 3. Let's go over to tier 2. Right? Did Bernard just go?
Yep.
Okay. Brennan Presley, let's Q. Eugene Wilson, let's Q. And we'll take one of those two.
Okay. Kind of catching the end of a tier here, it looks like. By 80.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Which is fine. And it's kind of what I figured would happen. Oh, great. Kyron Drones. Excellent. You can have Kyron Drones. It's just Virginia Tech's defense oriented and they run slow. Kyron Lacey, delightful. I don't think Kyron Lacey ends the year as the number 1 wide receiver for LSU. I have another guy we'll try to target the Chris.
Oh, there goes Daniels, Jalon Daniels.
There goes Jalon Daniels. Look at all the QBs. This is a QB draft.
Very heavy. So do you prefer
very heavy? I think we got more upside with Eugene Trey Wilson. Brent Presley is safer, but give me Eugene Wilson.
Yeah, we need a wide receiver 1 on this team.
He's a stud. Like in 2 years, he's right now. It's him or Zachariah Branch, my 2 ones. See, look at all the QBs. Yeah. Thing is, it's going to stop soon.
Well, if the
gonna
pool is
stop.
deep, then this isn't really that
Just
scary.
keep going. Yeah, like honestly, we want to QIO Manor too. I see him up there. Q him. Jackson Arnold still there?
Oop.
Q
Oh, I don't know.
Jackson Arnold. Just in case that gets back to us, then we'll
Okay.
kick that around because he's worthy. He's a tier 1, and
Okay,
we're
nice.
way down here now. I mean, it's almost stupid how far we are down here. Yeah, there goes IO Manor.
What year in the program
K is
Wilson?
gonna smash Jackson Arnold here. I bet. Oh no, he's already got a QB. He'll probably go Presley or probably go Presley. Okay, damn you, K. Bernard's gone, right? Let's Isaiah Bond. Let's cue him.
Oh, he went Jackson Arnold. Okay.
Of course he went Jackson Arnold. Of course he did. I told you he would. Jackson Arnold shouldn't be here.
Wait, who am I queuing?
Go to just wide receiver only. So I can just see the wide receiver board. Throw Travis Hunter in there.
Yeah, we talked Travis Hunter.
Let's
Bond.
throw Isaiah Bond, Gold Bond, Jaden Higgins. Let's go up again.
We're at the top.
Oh, we're at the top. Oh, we are. How far are we here? 5 picks away. All right. There goes Presley. Of course, that's a great deal. Just very, very safe at that pick. Okay, we're 4 away. Cool. There goes Deion Burks. Cue up Nick Anderson. There goes Judkins. See what I mean? Like there's still plenty of. See how far down Nick Anderson? Are you kidding me? Jeez, that's wild. That's an inefficiency.
Okay.
I like that. So we won't take Anderson because we can probably get him on the way back. Just go over. We're not up yet, right? We're on.
No, we're 1 away.
Go over to running back real quick. Okay. All right. No problem. I want to see for the next time around. All right. So we're looking at for our wide receivers.
We got here if we want to.
Was that a tight end? Who just went? LeKent?
Allen, running back Syracuse.
Allen. All right. So we got 12 picks before. So we got Hunter, Bond, Higgins, Anderson. All right. I'm with Hunter.
Yeah, Hunter seems very fun.
I'm with Hunter. Yeah.
All right. So we check the bye weeks here for Florida and Colorado.
We should. I know Colorado is 6-11. Let's see what.
Are you memorizing?
6-10. I have some of them memorized. I just did Texas and Colorado. They're 6-10, so I know that. But then who is the other one? Florida. Sorry. Let's see, I know this guy. Florida's the thing with them is they got a.
We got 2 6s. We got 2 11s.
Yep. Okay, Florida is 5-9.
Oh yeah,
good. So we're in good shape with our wide receiver buys. The fact that we don't have any of those with our top 2 means we can kind of just go. We're kind of free in that sense. We can kind of do whatever we want, which is nice. We're more pigeonholed for running backs. Let's take a look at the running backs and schedule those out so we know what we want to pivot to. And then, queue up a couple QBs because we'll be probably looking QB. I think we'll have a little. They're going to stop and like back off the QBs a little bit here. So I feel like we've already hit the tier and we might as well we've already waited, So
yeah, although I mean Nick Anderson seems like a fun one. We pick at his ADP 68. We pick at 55 and 66. So I guess we could even try to push him another round.
We'll sit tight on that. That's no problem.
Okay.
So let's look at the QBs that are available one more time. I apologize. All right, Q Noose, Q Nussmeier, Q Beck.
Yeah. I'm not gonna be real on nicknames.
Oh, sorry, my bad, my brother. Fafita. Right there, yep. Scroll down a little. Preston Stone. Oh my God, yeah, Preston Stone. Wegman. Connor Wegman right there, dead red. And then scroll up a little again. Riley Leonard.
All right.
All right, cool.
We lost
Now
news.
let's go over to running backs. Oh wait. So we're on deck here.
We're on deck. We still have Bond available.
Running backs. All right, cool. Q ETN, Q Marks.
Is this Travis's brother?
It is.
Wow, that's exciting. All right, we're on the clock.
All right, is this the short side or the long side that we're on?
It's slightly shorter.
Okay, yeah, short side. All right, let's go Preston Stone here at QB.
Stone.
Well, actually, no, fuck it. Let's go ETN. Let's go ETN.
Yeah.
Let's go. You
Trevor
for the NFLers, for the NFL guys.
Yeah, that's a fun one.
I said we're gonna fade QB. We're gonna get dangerous. Let's get dangerous, huh?
I love
Let's
it.
go. There's already been so many QBs taken. They already took Noose right before us. So like, I liked Noose when he was gone. It's like,
TETN is it's a comfy feeling for an NFLer, you know.
Exactly.
I just feel better about the roster already. Now,
riding a bike.
How are we doing at buys? Because let's see.
At buys, let's check out the running back buys. What does ETN's buy look like actually?
So
we don't care about wide receiver buys.
He's week 9 and week 4.
Good.
So
we kind of got lucky in that.
Yeah, well, we kind of got lucky. We did get lucky. we didn't check it,
Patrick.
And then we checked after, and it was good. That is the
yes, yeah. So it's fine. It's fine. Well, the RB3, talent-wise, with that you can get away with, but
right.
Not so much beyond that. All right, we're definitely pivoting to either quarterback or wide receiver here. I don't mind either one because we'll go on a little hibernation for what round was this? I got a full screen it. All right, so we're round 6. Oh yeah, we got some time. We won't go back to the running back well until round 10.
Okay.
So these next ones we'll just focus on.
I like going wide
quarterbacks, wide receivers, maybe. Yeah,
let's push.
We have our guys. Bond and Higgins just went.
We still got our guy Nick Anderson.
We got Nick Anderson. Jeremiah Hunter can go.
Okay, he's still there.
Let's go. Fields is a great one. That's a nice pick there. Rashad Owens, throw him in there in the queue just in case. But we're going Nick Anderson if he's there. It's just how it's going to be. When we look down, Kobe Hudson should be queued. See what I mean? LeJonte Wester's there. Kobe Hudson just went. We got Anderson.
That's beautiful.
Kobe Hudson is a good, solid pick here. All right, good. So we got Anderson. Great. We're in good shape. What are his buys? Let's take a look at that now. Okay, I'll handle that. The Oklahoma buy section.
So 3 running backs, 3
Oklahoma's
receivers.
Buys are week 12. We got a week 12 buy, and we got a week 6. Okay, I don't think that matches up with our other buys, does it? For wide receivers,
I thought we had another week 6. I think we have 1 week 6 at wide receiver.
Okay, so 2 week 6s. It's interesting. Oh yeah, we definitely have a week 6. It's 6 and 10 for for Hunter. Okay, so good. So no week 6s. So out of the equation from here on, Illinois. Okay, no Pat Bryant. Maryland, that's fine. Mississippi State. Okay, no Kelly Akiari. Kentucky, fine. Notre Dame. Okay. LSU. Wow, LSU has week 6. Texas has week 6. Colorado is week 6. Oh. Okay, Cincinnati has week 6. BYU has week 6. Kansas State has week 6. And that's a wrap. Okay. So that's
how many wide receivers are we going to ultimately end up with, you think?
7, probably, maybe 8.
So it's okay if we have like a few. If we have like 3,
we can have a couple week 6s. Okay. We're okay. I'm just,
it's not a playoff week.
We just need to be aware, and in our running back room, we are no week 6s for that as well, right? Is that what it was?
I think we had a 7,
was it
an 11, a 7, 10, and a 4 and 9.
Okay, it was the 7s.
I think it was the 7s that overlapped.
Okay, good. So that's good.
So we covered that with ETN.
Yes,
just a perfect.
It was such a savvy play.
Yeah, we really crushed it.
We do. All right, so let's see. What are the quarterbacks? We're up in 2. What are the QBs? This is great. See Miller Moscows. That's just delightful. Preston Stone is our pick.
All right.
Do not pass go. Do not collect 200, and do not take him, whoever this clown is. Sorry. No offense to fade into oblivion. But he's got two QBs. He shouldn't be. He needs to take a tight end. Is what he needs to do. Good. Elijah Badger. Great. Preston Stone. Yeah.
We could play the ADP game with like Fafita, I guess, but you're much more into Stone.
Taking Stone, right? You got to remember, we do have the triple bye to contend with. They have 3 buys for Stone, but an incredible quarterfinals. So we have to be aware of that. Yeah, take them.
So what are the 3 buys for Stone?
I believe it's 3-11. Let me see. It's 3. Where are
3 buys?
SMU? Oh, yeah, 3 buys, bro. 3 buys. SMU. We have 3 because they play week 0. They play Florida State week 0. So that's an extra added in by. Week 3, week 7, week 11. 3, 7, 11.
Okay. 11's gonna be tough. So at least it's not a playoff bye. What's the week 0 deal?
It's a select few teams like Florida. The best game is Florida State versus SMU. I think Hawaii plays. I think maybe USC did last year, but they didn't do this year. They got a few teams. There's like 6 games every week 0. That's the week before week 1, just to like get a little extra push in, a little extra exposure for some teams. So that's what.
But the real games they count. It's not preseason.
Oh, it counts. Yeah,
okay.
It counts. Okay. It's just you don't. Those teams don't play week 1 then, or they play, or they have an early bye. You know, and that's what it is. SMU just has that week 3 bye. So, all right, let's get to replenishing the wide receivers, since like seems like we got QBs there, and we'll be all right with that.
And we've got running backs going off, which just seems good for us. So we're
that's fine. Yeah. And we'll want to line up a couple running backs. I already know who I want though in those later rounds, like we talked about. We'll be targeting Cam Cook in round 10,
right,
or whenever, maybe late round 9 if we want to. But let's get a wide receiver. We got 3 now.
We got 3 wide receivers. We got
we're on tier 3 now. Jordan Moore, we'll want to take a look at if he's available. Denzel Boston, Jacoby George, Jonte Cook.
Jordan Moore's gone. Boston's gone. Here's the receivers here. We're up in 1 pick.
Oh, geez, are we doing? Oh, we're up in 1 pick. Okay, the receivers. Show me how you do that trick. Actually, we're up. Why don't we take Riley Leonard here? Get another QB, because we probably won't get him on the way back.
Oh, we already got him. Thank you.
Yeah.
Beautiful. All right, that worked out pretty well.
And we'll take that. That's no problem.
This is what we talked about before the draft. Structurally, we grab maybe 2 quarterbacks, 7, 8.
Yep.
3 receivers through the first 7 rounds. We got that. Mm-hmm. We went a little bit running back heavier than we talked about, but push quarterback a little further.
Mm-hmm. Which is fine. Now, at least we got those 2 that I feel good about. Like, they're solid. We can depend on them. Now we'll definitely pivot to wide receiver, running back. I do see Lachey still there for tight end, but like, why bother? There's plenty. We can do whatever we need to do. Notre Dame's buys. ND. Where's ND?
Don't they have overlap with 6? Didn't you say
they have 6? 10 and 6? Yeah. So that does not correlate. I knew that they didn't have an 11. And we said 6. So that's perfect. Neither of our QBs, our top 2 QBs, are going to overlap.
Nice.
So that helps with our buys right there. We don't have to worry about any of that. Now let's take a look, as we stated, at the wide receivers and who we want.
And how bad does wide receiver fall off? Like, if we were to ignore wide receiver now, we're in trouble?
Badly.
Okay.
It becomes personal preference, and it's just a matter of like, all right, whatever. Let's see. Where are we? Go to the wide receiver room so we can get somebody queued up. We're coming. All right. Zachariah Branch, cue him. Let's see. What else we got? Cool. Q Wells, Antwain Wells. Q Jonte Cook. Did he just go? Jonte Cook just went.
He just
bastard.
went, yeah.
Jacoby George, he's down there a little bit. Cue him. Yeah, geez. See, once you hit Malik Benson, it gets hairy. Okay, get up. Akiari for Mississippi State. Cue him. And all right, cue Meredith. And then that's all we need here. All right. Let's see, in terms of my ranks.
We got our pick.
I like Wells here. Wells or Branch? Let's go Branch.
Okay.
Let's shoot for the sky and go with a little USC stack here. Get a little USC going.
Now, what's his deal? I didn't hear much about him with Caleb. It was more like Brendan Rice and stuff.
Yeah, he's the number 1 2026 wide receiver NFL prospect. Eugene Wilson is the number 2.
Okay.
So yeah, he's a superstar. It's just a matter of it's an unsettled depth chart at USC. There's going to be 4 guys who are rotating in on that starting thing, and Zachariah Branch is the one who's going to get game plan the most touches.
Okay.
Far and away, going to get game plan the most touches. I wouldn't mind getting another one, down the board of a USC receiver too, and just try to get as many as we can. Is Will Shepard still out there for Colorado? Has he been taken? Just so we have this together.
Yeah, he's gone.
Good. Okay, Singer.
Dorian Singer?
Yeah, cue him. Zavion, Zavion.
Z-A-V. Oh, Z-A-V.
Yep.
Xavion Thomas?
Yep, cue him. And Xavier Henderson.
No, he's gone.
Okay. All right.
I do like the Xavier spelling.
Yeah, with the Z. I like that.
Yeah. It's you're never sure how to pronounce Xavier, but that one's pretty clear.
For running backs, we click over to running backs real quick. All right, where's Caleb Jackson? Has he been taken?
We're on the clock.
Oh shit! Sorry for
Wells is in the queue.
Yeah. Go with Wells.
Okay.
No problem with Wells. Solid. So what does that mean? We got 5 receivers now?
We are at 5 receivers.
Bang.
3 running backs. So we talked about the 8 through 10 range at running back, but we skipped that. But we took 3 running backs early.
Yeah, that kind of mitigated it a little bit.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, all right, I wanted to have the security in the wide receiver room. Let's go over to running backs here and take a look at what we got for that. So make sure look for Cam Cook. Where's Cam Cook? First of all,
he's gone.
Who took him? Who's that prick?
Blep.
I don't know.
Blep 10.
Okay, whatever. Fine. Prick. He knew.
He clearly did.
That being said, all right, let's go back to the running back room. Montrell Q, Jordan Waters Q, Parker Jenkins Q. Go down a little bit. Oh boy, look at this. Katron Allen Q. Go up. Sanders Q. Hemby Q. And Jadarian Price, let's Q. Let's go up. Nice. All right. See this Dominic Lovett for Georgia. That's pretty early for him, believe it or not. Jeremiah Smith. All right, so Jeremiah Smith is the Julio Jones of college football. He's a true freshman.
Okay.
Julio Jones of college football. Legit.
That's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
So he just
True
went.
freshman.
Okay, he's OSU. I mean, they get the.
That's what I was trying to tell you. It's just, man, that's bold taking a true freshman, even as unbelievable as he is. It's
well, I was going to ask you kind of about the talent versus opportunity component here, because like you're telling me Zachariah Branch is a top 2026 level NFL prospect.
Mm-hmm.
That's very exciting, but these guys don't play all the time real early in their career. So
Correct.
let's pick, and then I kind of want to get your thoughts on how you balance that.
Okay, so it's running back time, right? What does my ranking say? Where are we at? Parker Jenkins still there, right? Is
Yep.
Jenkins?
It's Jenkins and Waters were the
Let's take
first three.
let's take Waters. Let's take Waters.
Okay. And then we have Katron, Sanders, and Hemby.
Yep, we can sit tight on that too.
Right.
I actually kind of like the wide receiver selection here that we got. It's pretty good. Let's go to quarterback and see what's available real quick. Okay, we still got Wegman there. He's in the queue. Or he was out.
I took him out, but yeah.
Throw Hoover in. Scroll down a bit. Sorsby, Q. Shapen, Q. Up.
Are there any stacks we can
throw in Taylor Green too. We want to, and Rocco Beck. There goes Manoa Sellers. That's a good pick. He could be pretty damn good. Okay, there goes Hemby, as we discussed. Hemby's a good solid receiving back. Waters could just get an absolutely titanic load over there at NC State. There's nobody else in that room.
Interesting.
UK's team. K's only got Katron Allen. There he goes. Let's see.
A lot of running backs.
A lot of running backs here. Let's see.
Right, he's at 6 running backs.
Yep.
Through 11 rounds.
Jadarian Price just went too. Yeah, that's a ton of running backs. But you're gonna go with that theory. I get it. What do we have? 4?
We have 4. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
We have 4 running backs, 5 wide receivers, and 2 quarterbacks.
Okay. And we're looking. I mean, I'd love to get Wegman here if at all possible.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Throw Hoover.
That's a pretty good ADP value if we can get him.
Throw Hoover up there too. He would be.
There goes Wegman.
Yeah, there he goes. Hoover's up there, and throw Sorsby up there.
So these guys are pretty
Hoover first.
Big reaches. Are we like any of these receivers?
Oh, I don't care about what they say about the reaches.
Okay. We're not into ADP value.
Whatever. Whatever you say, underdog people.
Hoover's not that big a reach.
Hoover's just fine. When we at this spot, like Mateer just went, give me Josh Hoover, bro.
Okay.
Kendall Brow's offense. No problem.
Nice.
All right, good. So we have a pretty good list here. And that's 3 quarterbacks. Good. And these next 2 picks, I'll take one of these next 2 picks, and then we got 3. Yeah. You know what? If Sorsby isn't there, we're going to sit on QB. Jenkins and Sanders, cool. Singer and Thomas, cool. We can get Thomas with our second pick because Chris K is not on that side. No one's going to know about him. Mason Taylor. Let's take a look at tight end here. Let's see what we got. Taylor just went, so that means
Tyler Warren.
All right.
Top here.
Yeah, you can cue Tyler Warren. You can cue him.
He was behind Theo Johnson last year, I guess, or
bye Theo Johnson. But they have Andrew Rappelia. They have so many tight ends. They run 2 tight end sets all the time. Cue up Roush. Sam Roush. And then Mitchell Evans. Oh yeah, then Oakley, then Bramer. Yeah, those guys are all good. Keep going down on the tight end front. Cole Taylor.
Got a cue.
Definitely Cole Taylor.
Here's.
Yep, Keanu Hill, 2 behind him. Up. We can wait on any of those guys. See whoever's there. up to the top. All right, throw in Nesbitt and Ferguson. They're both fine. They're both fine. All right, cool. Where are we at? Let's see.
We're up next.
Yep, we're up next. Let's see. Let me see here. Let's see the queue we got.
We got Sorsby.
Sorsby's there.
Jenkins.
Let's take
Yep.
Sorsby if he's there.
Okay.
Cincinnati's offensive coordinator has a 29% career carry rate for their quarterback, which that's what we like. We like to see a good, solid quarterback market share for running, and Sorsby was very accurate in Indiana last year. Really, really dig him.
Okay, nice.
So he's on a couple of my teams. So we'll look at the QB room: Stone, Leonard, Hoover, Sorsby, just rock solid right down the line, all three of them. And didn't have to pay a lot of money to get them,
right?
So, and trust me, that Sorsby 196 ADP is a laugh. I haven't seen him. This is where he goes. And
okay.
He should not go any higher than that. Parker Jenkins, good pick. Hankerson, have him. Brazel, yeah, we'll see about that.
So are you thinking we're done here at 4 quarterbacks, or we
will wait until the last round to take our last one?
Okay.
We will do the tier for whatever quarterback experience, and just whoever's there, we shall take them. Because as you see, Hoover and Sorsby are both firmly tier 3 quarterbacks for me, and the last 2 that were left, as they should be.
That's nice. So we got 2 tier 2s and 2 tier 3s.
Yeah, which is fine, and we didn't have to go and kill ourselves over it, and we could just sit tight for that 5th. But we want to at least get ourselves a tight end that we can be like, all right, we're fine with this now. This is acceptable. So, it's a matter if we want to do that now. Warren would be fine here at our next pick. That'd be okay.
We mentioned Chris K on this side of the board. You're saying we can probably push Xavier Thomas.
Oh, is he coming up on this side?
So he just picked.
Good. He didn't take him in either one. That's perfect.
Yeah.
So then we can wait for round 16 to come back on Thomas. That's awesome. So let's go and take a look at the running back board real quick. Just see what's available. All right. Q Maccabee. Q Carter. Q Roydell. Williams down there. There goes Maccabee. Q Ruben Owens right underneath them. Oh, yeah. Q Dallin Hayden.
We're on the clock.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
So we want to go running back or tight end here?
Why don't we take Ty Warren? That's totally fine. That's totally fine, Ty Warren. No problem with him. Now, let's do the tight end buy dance. Because if we're going to do 2 tight ends, baby, we got to make sure we get the right ones.
That's right, yeah.
And we are doing our 2 tight ends, it looks like. I don't know, maybe we won't, but let's see.
Penn State.
Penn State, where are you, Penn State? Here we are. Okay, week 8 and week 3. 3 and 8. Okay. Kind of unconventional buys. That's good.
That's nice. That's nice.
3 and 8. So that means let's look at the other tight ends we had. So we just got to make sure we don't take a 3 or 8 tight end, and we can wait a little bit.
And we had another Q. I mean, are we looking tight end next pick? No, we're looking Thomas. So we might want to.
How many? Let me see. What does K have? If we can go over to his build, if you can scroll over to what K's build.
He kind of needs receivers, I think, because he went receiver in the 4th and 5th, receiver in the 8th.
Yep, and he's been waiting, and then a couple. He'll probably go back. Yeah, he'll probably take another one this time around. Okay, cool. So yeah, we'll take Xavier Thomas here. That's fine. Now let's. We already queued some running backs.
Yep.
Right, and we got 5 of them. Or how many we got? 4.
We got 4 running backs.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So I want to go 6 on them. Probably. It's depending on the buys. Let's make sure we get that all squared away. All right, good. So we still have some tier 4 running backs.
Did we check NC State's buys?
A lot of tier 4 available. Let's check NC State.
How deep is tight end?
Pretty deep. What are you
Okay.
thinking?
Well, it sounds like we should go Thomas if we can get him, and then maybe grab a running back.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with sitting on tight end. Who am I looking up again? My dumb
NC State Spies.
NC State Spies. Where are you, NC State? Where are you? Control F, maybe? Here we are. Week 9 and week 12.
All right, so that overlaps with ETN with 9, but I can't remember his other one. I think 4. But 12, we don't have anyone, although that's a playoff. So Xavion made it, so we should grab him.
Yeah, take him. Fine.
That's nice.
That's excellent. I love that value. Like I said, I think he has just as good a shot as Lacey to be in the top guy, but he just goes way later.
Wow.
Georgia, is that where we're at? Is that what we're talking about? Georgia's 4 and 9.
4 and 9. Okay, so 9 and 12. So we've made out like pretty well at the running back bye week so far.
Yeah, we're in good shape there to where we can just go talent, best player on the board when we need to for our next running back, and I don't even mind sitting for a little bit on that.
We probably want to avoid anyone with a week 12 bye because we already have.
Yeah, we want a week 5. Okay, well then why don't we? Can we look at the running backs once more that are currently available? And is that 6 wide receivers we have?
We are at 6 wide receivers, 4 quarterbacks, 4 running backs, 1 tight end.
We're taking a quarterback. I mean, we're taking a running back here. All right, let's scroll down. Is that all we got? Is Owens and Hayden in the queue?
Yeah, that's all we got in the queue.
Shit, okay.
Hayden, we could go a little. We got Hunter, so we can bet on Colorado a little more.
Oh yeah, I like that. All right, let's go Micah Bernard Q. Chuck Wesmore Q. That's fine. Cedric Robichaux and Irvin. Both of those. Robichaux, BC. Bill O'Brien is the head coach. You know Bill O'Brien, my friend. You know Bill O'Brien. He likes to run the ball, Bill O'Brien.
He does, yeah. That's
what we do. Kai Robichaux, come on down, baby. We know you like to run the ball, B.O.B. See, look at that. A little correlation for our NFL fans out there. We're doing our best. We're doing our best.
Okay. Bill O'Brien's reputation not as high as it once was.
Needs no introduction. Let's go to QB again, just to see where we're at on that, just so we can have our guys queued. Let's just have it. Go with Aller, like a dependable.
We get the stack with the tight end there. That's fun.
Oh wow, that would be dangerous. Mertz definitely. Bowman definitely.
We have Florida too. We've got Wilson, so that's a good one.
We're on the clock. We're gonna do that. Okay. Whoops.
Dallin.
Let's take Dallin Hayden, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, get that Colorado stack going.
Let's go, Colorado. Let's go. All right. Round 6. So we got 17, 18, 19, 20. So we got 4 guys left. We will be having 1 quarterback. We'll have another wide receiver, probably make it 7. We'll have another, we'll probably have 1 of each, right? That sound right? 1 of each position?
Right. I think 1 of each position.
Unless you want to go wild on the tight end. But let's take a look. Let's line up our tight end buys right now, in fact.
All right. So we got Urosic, Taylor, Hill in the queue.
Okay.
I threw Urosic in the queue because we talked about him.
No problem. No problem. I'm totally fine with him in round 17. All right. So we already took Tyler Warren, who is, what would we say, 3 and 8? Okay. Georgia is 4 and 9. So that's a go.
That's a good one.
Who is it? We also
Cole Taylor,
had
West Virginia.
Cole Taylor, West Virginia is 5 and 10. So good. That works too, right?
That also works if we were to go 3. He would fit with Urosic and
those all. That's perfect.
Warren.
And what was the last one we had in there?
Keanu Hill, BYU.
Keanu Hill, BYU, and they have week 6 and week 10. So all right, all 3 of these work. All 3 of these work at the tight end position. So I would prefer Cole Taylor. And we talked about a little bit about him before. I think he's a 60 target tight end, which is, that's gold territory.
Now, one thing I would say is with generally the way underdog tournaments work, like if you can get points at the tight end position, and it doesn't seem like there's there's one guy who's just basically a cheat code, and then it's like kind of random. So I don't know. I'm intrigued by going 3 tight ends. Is what I'm getting at. Because if
You want to go
we
3
gotta
tight ends? We can go 3 tight ends.
we gotta
Well,
get through
where do you
those
want to cut off
single
then?
weeks.
Could we cut off an extra running back? Or we got 5 now? Because we're in pretty good shape with the running backs, except with bye weeks and all that.
I think the way we built with 3 running backs through the first 5, we could probably stop at 5.
Okay, I'm cool with that. That's a totally respectable build and logical. We only start 2 running backs, and then, like we said, the super flex is handled. You got another flex, but that's cool. All right. Well, then in that case, this is fun. Bump up Eurosek and Hill then next to Eurosek would be Taylor and Eurosek would be our preference because then there's no bye weeks to line up. And we get 3
that's
live
real
shots
nice
every week, which would be we at least 2 every week, which is real nice. Keanu Hill is a kind of a cheat code. He was a
Taylor
wide
goes.
receiver. God
Man.
damn, fade into oblivion.
I know, right? This dude's been
Bro.
sniping us.
All right, fine. Eurosek.
Eurosek works.
It's just fine.
I do like that, we talked about him pre-show and then we take him. It's pretty good.
That's a pretty damn good value around 17, Ben Eurosek. He could blow up. I mean, that's a look at what Brock Bowers did. I know he's not Brock Bowers, but man, Eurosek has been a dependable tight end for 3 straight years. And he got dinged up last year and hurt. It's the only reason why he's kind of suppressed in terms of his numbers. So, all right. So we got that. Should we have a backup tight end on tap? If Hill gets taken, which he could. Yeah, I mean, if we should probably have someone else. Go down a little. Traore. Yeah, definitely Seydou Traore. Throw in Malik Carr, too. Malik Carr had a 35% broken tackle rate last year as a tight end. That's obscene. Well, and now he's in Houston. He was in, they don't throw that much, though. So I don't want to take him. Brock Vandegrift sighting from Realist Chris
Keanu
K.
Hill goes. We don't have to force the 3 tight end if we don't like the guys.
No, Traore would be the
pick. Okay.
He's definitely got the most upside. And if not, we sit and we wait for the last round. I don't care.
Yep.
Fine. But Traore is worth taking.
Anything a wide receiver jump out?
Go up a little. Noah Thomas. Definitely cue him. Cue Lawrence Arnold. Noah Thomas. Do we have Wegman? No, we don't. Somebody took Wegman. Pricks. All right. Scroll down on the wide receivers again. Let me see. We got a little further down. Keep going. Old.
Oh, we're on the clock.
Okay.
Traore or
Traore.
Thomas?
Let's go Traore.
Okay.
Because he won't be back. He will be selected.
Okay. All right. So we got the 3 tight ends.
Yeah, and we just need QBs and wide receivers. What we're doing now. We're gonna stick with Cedric Irvin is a pretty good running back shot, but we'll keep him in there.
Okay.
As far as the other ones, I guess throw in Sturdivant for UCLA. Just for kicks. He was a little further down. Just there. All right. Let's go here. Scroll down a little bit again. See what I mean by the wide receivers here? It's getting hairy.
Yeah.
Keep going.
I know exactly.
Jimmy Horn. Cue Jimmy Horn.
Jimmy Horn. Okay.
Yep. Because look, we already got one Colorado wide receiver.
Oh yeah.
Let's take the other one.
Oh, here he is.
There's going to be 4 of them that get out there and get looks. Like, let's go. As long as we don't have bye week issues with that, I would be very open to taking Horn. Because when we have Horn and Hunter, that's the only double up we have in our room, and it's a prolific passing offense. So it's like,
love it.
The thing is, there's what's called the power 3 theory, which is the potent offense wide receiver 3 theory in college. Again, that's another one of my own personal.
I like the
little.
It's what some people call, and by some people I mean me because I made it up.
My own personal moniker I have dubbed it, but yeah, the power 3, and that's you will frequently see like Devontae Smith. He was the wide receiver 3 in 2021 for Alabama. We know how that worked out. Bye-bye, Ruggs and Judy. Bye-bye. Emeka Egbuka, Jackson Smith and Jigba was the wide receiver 3 his year. And then Egbuka was the wide receiver 3, and he blew up. Last year, it was Jalen Polk was the wide receiver 3 entering the season.
Mm.
So year after every single year, look, I just went 4 years off the top of my head. Wide receiver 3s from potent offenses that eclipsed the wide receiver 1 and 2s. Horn could certainly do that. I mean, he could certainly outscore LeJontay Wester. And we even talked about it beforehand, how it's like, dude, let him take Wester. I feel like Horn is probably on par with him, and we can get him round 19. We're probably going to get him round 19 here. Look, yeah. Unless this jerk takes him and he's listening to us. This isn't even live, is it?
We're not. No, this isn't live. This is
so damn you fade into oblivion. No more. Look, he's got 8 wide receivers. No more wide receivers out of you, sir. You've hit your limit. He takes one. I'm going to throw my hands in the air and just be like, "What are you doing? Don't take my Jimmy Horn, Junior."
Do you have a preference between? So we got Jimmy Horn,
Jalen Knighton. Fine, that's a good pick.
I like the Horn pick a lot. Now we've got
straight QB. Let's go and check out the other QBs in case this could hit the QB section. Let's cue. Do we have? No, we don't have a Duke one. Cue Peyton Thorne for kicks. I'd love to take Galandria, but he might not win that job. There goes. We're having an orgy in Michigan. He just went. Throw in Malik Murphy.
All right.
Oh, there goes Aller. Do we have Tyler Van Dyke anywhere? My beloved Tyler Van Dyke, has he been taken?
Yeah, he's gone. Damn. Taken by
how dare you take my
Jay-Z Rucker.
Jay-Z Rucker. Not pleased with you.
Now
right, let's go down a little here. Ooh, we could get wild and go Zevi Eckhouse. Oh, Q Altmaier. I love Altmaier. Eckhouse would be taking a shot at that Washington State like high variance because it's a battle between Mateer and Eckhouse.
Okay.
Mateer is like, if he had the job, Mateer is a tier 2, like high tier 2 QB. He's already kind of is a low tier 2. Like you could get wild and go Eckhouse because we're pretty clear on our wide. Like we got
how
solid
you think
quarterbacks.
You think someone wins the job and keeps it the whole year? Or is it possible they kind of rotate it?
It's possible they could rotate, yeah. But I mean, is our guy gone? Yeah. See the other.
Yeah, we lost our guy.
Just went. Yeah. So, it's good food for thought. I love Altmaier. I'd be fine with Peyton Thorne. I'd be fine with any of these QBs. Doesn't matter. Malik Murphy. They are going to throw in Duke.
Who's the most fun of these quarterbacks?
Most fun. The wild one is Zevi Eckhouse. That's
Eckhouse just goes. I was literally dragging him up to the top of the queue.
I think Altmaier is a pretty good look. Yeah, Peyton Thorne would probably be the shot in the dark. He would be the Hugh Freeze taking the shot. Like let's shoot for the moon.
Let's shoot for the moon.
Shoot for the moon, baby.
Peyton Thorne. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Thorne it is.
I actually got to run because we're doing ship chasing, but that's it.
All right. Well, hey, that's what happens when you do an hour and 38. Right.
That is what happens.
You drop a buck 38 on that ass. So you're welcome, everybody. I hope this is informative and enjoyable.
Recap the team for us real quick here, Froton.
I'm just disappointed. Me and Pat live in San Diego, both of us. This was originally going to be a 2-1. I was going to go to Pat's house, but he couldn't get coverage for Viv. Yeah. So what am I doing?
Recap the team for us before we get out of here.
All right, we got Preston Stone for the wide receiver room. Again, quarterback room. As we talked about, waiting a little bit, get a solid, dependable Preston Stone, Riley Leonard over there at Notre Dame, Josh Hoover in a high up-tempo offense at TCU, and then a guy who runs a pretty fair amount in Brendan Sorsby. Shot the moon at the Hugh Freeze offense in the last round for Auburn, just to illustrate that you can get decent guys that are going to be fine in the last round. We went Giddens and Ott, who were just bang, 2 very solid tier 1 running backs, which has allowed us, as we go back to kind of sit tight. ETN's there. I just felt like it was a good deal, which then allowed us to kind of wait a little bit more on Jordan Waters, who should get just an absolute load at NC State. And then the pass catcher, Dallin Hayden, who transferred from Ohio State to Colorado. We talked about him pre-show. On the wide receiver front, hey, I like this room. This is a damn good room, and we didn't have to go with either of our first 2 picks on the wide receivers. Eugene Wilson, Travis Hunter, Nick Anderson is a top 3. Bang, bang, bang. Zachariah Branch, USC's number 1 nominal wide receiver, could get a Jordan Addison share could have that sort of a role that we saw from 2 years ago. Antwain Wells, you got to have a piece of Ole Miss that is going to be a 40-point per game offense. Love Jackson Dart. Xavier Thomas, as we talked about, I think he could be the number one wide receiver in a 40-point per game offense. It's going to be throwing for 300 a game at LSU. Jimmy Horn going with that Colorado stack. And then, as we talked about, wait a little bit on tight ends. Still managed to get Tyler Warren, who is a high tier 2, and then 3 tier 2 QBs, tight ends, to be able to, with in sync buys, so that we can have everybody together. We'll have 2 tight ends every single week to get to score points. I feel like we're in pretty good shape. As long as those QBs are solid, we're going to be in good shape.
This team feels far, far stronger than I had any right to draft. So thank you, Froton.
Thank you, Pat.
We got
my brother.
The rankings. So the Fantrax articles, check those out. The rankings you mentioned you're going to put the bye weeks on. Are people going to be able to check those out?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I will be putting them I'm putting them on my Twitter at CF Froton, or I'll put them on Fantrax. Maybe they won't let me do it because it's advertising Underdog. But hey, I just want to inform the masses. I just want to help, baby.
They'll be available. They'll be available. Links.
They will be available.
Thanks again, man. This is a blast. I'm gonna dive in. I'm gonna wait probably until you have your ranks out, but then I'm gonna.
Wait. You should do it right now when you have the ranks. You have access to.
Well, that's true. That's true. That's.
Brother, I miss you. I will see you at softball in a couple of weeks out here in lovely San Diego. I can't wait for that. I will see you. You will be at the PB Pub before and after the game. Our sponsor. Shout out to the pub. And I appreciate it, Pat.
Shout out to the PB Pub, and yeah, we'll be getting some softball in soon. Appreciate it, man.
Oh yeah, later, brother.